All right, for our third and final segment topic for the Rifter number 24, we are going to cover media and entertainment in the Rift's world. I know this is a Rifter, so all of this is optional. But this stuff, even the parts I disagreed with or just like, whatever, was so good. This is something I think that anybody who runs Rifts, I don't care about the players, but if you run Rifts, I really think that the stuff written in here is something you need to get. You need to go get the Rifter 24 and add it to your game, at least in the background, if nothing else, so that you can have a more vibrant and living world. And we're going to take a look at what all that is now. All right, Rifter, and apparently, according to my notes, and I have lots of note cards.
Ooh, they're green.
Yeah. Stupid cable, would you get off me? Oh, there we go. There's going to be some reading, some description, a lot of stuff. Okay, so I'm not going to read every paragraph here because we wouldn't have time for that. But I do have a couple here that I want to start off with. So all that has really changed since before the Rifts is the availability of entertainment. With much of human civilization reduced to rubble, there just isn't the same media infrastructure to channel movies, television, internet, and news programs directly into every home. Also remind you, this article was written in 2003, and even though
the internet was new, and, no, for all of you who are under 30 years old, I want you to open up another tab and Google search a random web page from 2003. We will be able to hear you laugh from here.
Yeah, they started changing from the lot of Flash in 2003. Before that, you had that 90s stuff with things just blinking all over the place. Yeah. But a lot of Flash in 2003. Anyway, where was here? So, well, the other thing I want to say on that, so yeah, streaming services and so forth aren't something that they were considering at that point, but you can add that in there as well. The popular media continues to exist, but on a much smaller scale. Radio and television stations are found only in the larger kingdoms, and their broadcast range is far smaller than in the past. Without satellite technology, the days of global media corporations are gone. The entertainment that does exist is far more localized. Hey, we're going back to your KTSP stations, local to some nonsense city you never heard of before. The entertainment that does, so that with broadcast reach only as far as home region. The Rifts have also seen the revival of live entertainment. Oh yeah, the traveling road show is a thing. Welcome to the circus. Wait a minute, it's Rifts. Isn't everybody in the circus? Well, they can be. That's not in here. That's my take.
The revival of P.T. Barnum.
There you go. Given, what is it? Oh my God, the reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Yep.
Given the limited range of the television and radio stations that do exist, most rural areas are completely cut out of the loop. In such areas, the only entertainment that is available outside expensive PDD and video recordings are live shows. The situation has created great demand for traveling shows. Bards, and yes, there's a Bard OCC, and other wandering performers, comics, theater players. What's a busker? I don't know what a busker is. It's entertainment filled with opportunity for the rugged individual with a guitar who will travel. All right. You get the idea. Some of it does talk about, hey, there are television stations.
Oh,
what?
A busker is a street performer.
Oh, okay. Well, now I know.
Plays music or sings for money.
And then we're just going to hit this first paragraph here before we have a little discussion. The coalition states, because we all know that you want to be a good, loyal coalition citizen, right? So what kind of media do you have access to? In North America, the largest media source, both by coverage area and audience, is the coalition states. The popular media is a tremendously vital and integral aspect of the coalition for many reasons. It is because of this that early on in the founding of the CS, a massive scale project to establish media infrastructure was undertaken. Okay, so it's like 1984. You all get to watch the same show. Hundreds of rebroadcast and uplink towers were erected across the 5 member states to handle telephone, television, and computer modem transmissions. Your streaming, your YouTubes. Coalition Tube. There you go. C-Tube. This system enables the average citizen to contact other people anywhere within the boundaries of the coalition. Oh, telephones. as well as to access television programming and news broadcasts. More importantly, it has provided the CS government with the ability to reach out to its citizens directly. So how does somebody, I don't know the cities of what are the 5 coalition states?
There is
Obviously Illinois.
yeah, Chi-Town. There's Ironheart, which is, I'm blanking. Lone Stars in Texas.
Well, the 5 core states, we'll just say Illinois and Missouri. If you live on one side of Illinois and the other, we're not talking St. Louis here, okay? We're talking, okay, the Chi-Town and whatever St. Louis became. Well, I know the Arch is a whole demon central, but we'll just say somebody you know lives there. You can still make a phone call there, or the equivalent thereof is the point. There is infrastructure in the coalition. Most of the times that I've played Rifts, even when dealing with the coalition, it's almost like they had all this high-tech armor, but other than their 100-meter communication range, they had nothing. No, the average coalition citizen, this is one of the reasons why I think Heathen Dog, directly or indirectly, talks about why you'd want to live under the coalition, even if they are the evil bad guys, because you can live with some semblance of humanity and technology.
And safety. Safety. It's not safe out there. 99% of the planet wants to kill you actively. Screw Benjamin Franklin. Screw that idiot.
Right?
He didn't have to. When he walked out of his front door, there wasn't a 75% chance he was going to get murdered. Well,
eaten
most of the time.
Just eaten.
Yeah.
I don't want to be lunch.
No.
So what the rest of this goes into talks about the Coalition States News Network and so forth. But most of this is programming is a form of control.
Yeah, it's for washing your brain.
But the programming is entertaining. It's ideologically correct, but it is not boring.
It's edutainment.
Right. Well, think Chinese television, which is very much like American television, just with some things you can't do. It's not North Korean television. It's not just state all the time. It's a way to keep you invested. They have sports, they have news, they have dramas, they have all the stuff that you would think of right now. Just you're not going to see anybody burning the coalition flag.
And all of the subtext is going to be coalition awesome.
Sure.
And magic users bad.
Right. But like I said, I want you to think more on the lines of like Chinese, not North Korean, where you don't even want to watch the shows.
Right. Yeah. You probably have 100 channels, but
6.
All of it was approved by the coalition. Whereas in North Korea, you probably have 2 channels and all of them are run by the coalition.
I think it's 6 channels. It says it here. So yeah.
Oh,
there
6?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. The 6 or so channels there. Remember, this is 2003, and while we did have cable back then, the person who wrote this kind of went back to the era of rabbit ears when you had CBS, NBC, ABC, PBS, and maybe some weird local station that you had to have that little round one for UHF.
You had to adjust the antenna to get it right.
All right. Multimedia agencies. So yeah, I'm not going to read this apparently. So multimedia agencies. So what they do is they tend to show things that you're not allowed to see in the coalition states. So these are going to be more on the fringe, but their broadcast area isn't as large. You'll see gladiatorial games, juicer sports, DBs, magic, dissenting opinions, and so forth. And these tend to take place more along Tolkien, Federation of Magic, and other places that are not the coalition where they won't allow things like that. I can never say this, so I'm just going to say Northern Gun. You can say the name that they're from, whatever. Yeah, that one. Laszlo, Triax, and Tolkien are the only ones who can really afford to have multimedia agencies because they are crazy expensive. And the multimedia agencies are for profit. So if you want their services, you're buying that cable subscription.
You're buying time.
All right. So let's go to movie production and the black market racket.
Okay, now this is one of the reasons why a lot of OCCs in the main book have skills that relate to appraising black market things, old tech stuff, and why everyone has 1D4 black market items. Because there's that's money that's not turned into money yet. And this is how it turns into money.
And Midrin, yeah, my real dad had cable in the 80s. And we had a bunch of channels, like 30 some channels when it first came out. So again, the point is think rabbit ears with your normal broadcast stations. Don't think cable companies on this one. And there are no satellites in Rifts. Well, there are, but they're not doing what you think they're doing.
They're not broadcasting anything except bullets and missiles and lasers.
Right.
So there you go. So
in movie production, there are rare pieces and rare events of coming across pre-Rifts movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, maybe now iPods or something. That have movies on them. They can go for a pretty penny. Modern movies, it's still a luxury business. There are actors. There are movie studios out there, actually hundreds of them, little ones, big ones, making independent films, making corporate films. There are a lot of places doing this. I mean, would you rather fight a real MDC creature or the one in the rubber suit? MMAs make 50 to 60% of all the movies, while hundreds of other small production companies exist to fill in the gaps. Interestingly, it didn't say anything about the coalition on this, and I went back and reread it. Like, you would think that the coalition would make 50% of the movies, MMAs would be like 40%, and then those little minor studios would be 10%, but it literally said nothing about the coalition.
Well, the coalition might actually backdoor own these other companies.
Maybe. I mean, you could do that in your game. It says read page 50, column 2. Okay. A major difference. Scroll over. Up here. Okay. A major problem in the movie industry is the black market connection. In the past, this large criminal organization was a sole provider of movie distribution, selling scavenged pre-Rifts films at exorbitant prices. Decades later, the black market continues to have a tight grip on movie production, using strong-arm tactics to control distribution and to force multimedia agencies to pay them a cut for a business that these criminals see as their own exclusive racket. One of my favorite TV shows of all time, Rome. Do you know why it didn't have a second or third season? I forget what, I think it's second season.
Why?
The studio burned down, and it was too expensive to recreate it.
Okay.
Well, guess what these black market agencies would do?
They would burn down studios, yeah.
There you go. Few companies have managed to avoid this nefarious and extensive control. Typically, only the wealthiest MMA with its own security force or bravest independent filmmakers dares to deprive the black market of its due. All right, so I kind of thought that was important. Here, I'll just stop it right here while I'm getting my next note card. So there you go. You can see how much it costs to watch a movie. Next, we're going to get into gladiator sports. And believe it or not, the coalition frowns upon gladiator sports to some degree. Nope, actually, hold on. That's what I was going to read right here. Although these events are banned in the coalition states, they flourish in other regions of the continent, from Ishpeming to Los Alamos in the deep south. Oh my God. For a relatively small cost, the average person can witness an evening of entertainment, gruesome as it may be. Now, I'm not going to read it, at least I don't think I am, but the vast majority of gladiatorial arenas aren't used for blood sport. Yes, blood sport exists in almost all of them, but most of them are plays, public forums. Think of like the Greeks. Not every Roman use of a Colosseum, of course, the big one we know about, but they had Colosseums or little amphitheaters everywhere, right? They weren't all used just for blood sport. They were used for many different purposes. Same thing here in the coalition states. For a relatively small cost, the average person can witness an evening of entertainment. I read that. The opportunity to watch these events is not limited to live audience. Multimedia agencies often broadcast significant matches live on pay-per-view. The black market is also involved in gladiatorial games, selling videotape matches held in various arenas, even from as far away as Atlantis. So if you've got that famous Atlantis blood sporter that you want to watch, well, hope you're willing to shell out. The usual cost of
4 times 100 credits.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for your average Joe.
Right. And if you came from Atlantis, I bet you it costs more than that.
I bet you it's maxed out. We're just maxing out that die roll.
Or just add another 0 on there.
Maybe.
All right. Traveling shows. Oh my God, I didn't think I had this much reading to do. Filling the void left by multimedia agencies and the movie industry is the traveling show and entertainer. An average small kingdom or community doesn't have the money for television systems or pricey videos. Instead, they turn to carnival-like shows, bards, and troops of performers for entertainment. These small-time entertainers have made a big impact, traveling from town to town and playing at the numerous smaller venues that exist throughout the continent. Think about this for a moment. If you want to spread a subversive word, do you do it on a television station where they can find the broadcasting point and shut it down? Or do you trickle it in with the traveling
with
show?
Song or a play or a story or whatever, like put your subversive thought as subtext so people don't immediately think you're traitorous or whatever, but they start thinking differently about things later on. That's how you do it.
Slower.
Yeah. And before they figure out, hey, he's trying to wash my brain, you're already in the next town.
Yep. So also there's some many isolated kingdoms through festivals when a traveling show is in town. So what they do is like, oh, you're coming? Great, we'll throw a party, and they get everybody involved. And it's a good time for everyone. Why is this important? I haven't talked about this much. I should get back into this. Why is this important? Great hooks for your adventures. Great way to get started. Something happens there, or the characters need a respite, or they want to buy something. Maybe here's the opportunity for them to do that or get the information for it. People in the carnival know a lot more than you think they do because they've been everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, carnies look like they're retarded. That's true. But even dumb looking people can pay attention, and they've traveled all around the area much more than anyone else who's living in that town. They'll know more about the land and the people in it than almost anyone else you're going to meet. So, bribe them, give them money, ask them questions, do it.
Then it goes into a bunch of skills. We're going to skip this part here, but I'll show them on the screen in case you want to pause it or something, see what skills. Most of these you can find in the books, but it talks more about how to utilize them for these purposes specifically.
That's cool.
All right. Scroll down. Entertainment OCCs, and we're going to start with the performer. By the way, I am not going to dive too deeply into these. I think there's one that I'm going to. But so this one says right here. By the way, if you like this, if you're like, well, I wish you would have covered more or talked more about it, go buy the book. It's on DriveThruRPG or it's on the Palladium website now. They got PDFs there. Go support Palladium. The job of any performer is the same regardless of their specific talent: to entertain or thrill, amuse, frighten, amuse, etc. an audience. What separates a performer from the average man is their phenomenal talent or expertise in some areas of specialty, which can be anything from playing an instrument to stage magic. We're not just talking an actor behind a camera. We're talking a true entertainer. Somebody who really knows how to sing. Somebody who really knows how to perform those magic tricks. Most are, in addition to being very talented, outgoing, and charismatic individuals who can easily communicate and connect with people. What can you do with that? One thing that a performer is not is an adventurer. They are professional entertainers who are used to working in city environments or with large protected traveling shows. To say that a performer is not prepared for the dangerous conditions in most wilderness areas is an understatement. Typically, they have no experience roughing it in the wild and few of any skills that are of use in combat situations. As such, performers are not really suited as player characters, but are presented for use as NPCs. There's going to be an exception to that later, by the way. But however, the GM can easily weave a performer character into the campaign for a change of pace as a victim of an ambush, kidnapping, or a vehicle crash in need of rescue, or someone in need of protection from a strong-armed black market thugs, bounty hunters, etc. Of course, here you go. For City Burb campaign, this OCC can fit right in. The Bard, we'll talk about the Bard later. The Bard is actually the one that's the most useful with regard to this. Oh, it says right there.
Think of it this way. A stage magician cannot use his stage magic to fight off a DB attack. A stage sword fighter Like a guy who learned how to sword fight for plays could probably beat a completely unskilled person in sword combat, but an actual person trained to kill folk with a sword, he's going to get his ass whooped. Bad.
Yeah, people who learn like what's his name, Hayden Christensen and what the fuck, Ian McGregor, learning how to do all those stunts and so forth for the Star Wars movies. First of all, they were hooked to lines, okay, to do some of those flips and so forth. They can wiggle that thing around, but if you're fighting even against somebody who's untrained, yes, you'd have the advantage of knowing how it feels in your hand, but a true trained fighter looks for tells that somebody like this can't look for or
Exactly.
feel
Yeah.
or understand. So yeah, they look cool and impressive as hell, but I bet you if I were to take out my sai, I could beat both of them in a fight. Maybe. I haven't trained with them in a long time. But anyway, now to the OCC information. We're not going to look at every little detail here. +4 to MA. This is going to become important later for something I want to talk about in a little bit. 1d4 to MA plus 1d6 to physical beauty.
Oh God, pretty privilege plus. Look at that.
And 10% to either charm, impress, or trust, intimidate.
Oh my God.
This makes sense to me. I like this. Okay. I'm totally on board with the entertainer being like that. You could be like, yeah, but Steven Tyler is an ugly SOB, but he's got charisma.
Yeah.
So maybe he only got a 1 on that physical beauty.
Yeah. But he's got that high MA.
Yes. Yep. Professional athletes receive a bonus of plus 2d6 SCC, plus 1 to physical prowess or physical strength, and 1d4 to physical endurance instead of those listed above. Yeah, and then it gives
they trained in only show muscles to look strong, but to not actually be strong. But that training did have some results.
Well, these are professional athletes. These aren't just like American gladiators. These are actually.
Oh, you sure? I thought they were performing athletes.
They just can't fight. Like I'll fight a football player. I won't wrestle one. Yeah. I won't wrestle one. Okay, and talks about cybernetics money and so on and so forth. Let's move on to the next.
Okay.
Field reporter OCC. Uh-oh.
Okay. Pass.
You might be surprised.
Not really.
One aspect of human civilization that has not changed since the Great Cataclysm is the demand for news. There's a particular facet of the human psyche that desperately craves information. Get up to the top. Oh my God. Information and news. People always want to be in the know, to know what is going on, not just for their own area, but everywhere, even places that have never been. I don't know if Heathen Dog's like this, but I know most people are. More people watch global news than they do their own local news. People don't know what's going on in our local area here with crime and so forth, but they can sure tell you about Israel. That's weird. Where's the last paragraph? Is that it? Yep. Okay. Nevertheless, field reporters are an adventurous and high-spirited lot, willing to go wherever the story takes them. It's the stuff.
It's just uninspiring. No, I'm sorry, not inspiring, because that's not true. Someone who is aspiring to be the next Erin Tarn, worthless idiot that she is.
Their job is challenging and often dangerous, but provides many rewards. Apart from financial gain, the field reporter gets to see many fascinating and distant spots that the average person only dreams about. They have the privilege of meeting hundreds of interesting people and witnessing the many wonders of Rift's Earth. Not to mention that a successful reporter has the chance to become wealthy and famous celebrity in his own right. Now, remember, these are mostly NPCs, but you're going to find out that this one has a bit to it. IQ of 11 or higher, ME of 8 or higher with a high MA and physical beauty attributes are helpful for dealing with people, but are not required. I'd say, yes, they are. This is the part that I really want.
There is no, hotshot reporter or news anchor that is not also good looking. Shut up.
They're starting to intentionally put ones that aren't good looking out there.
Then they're intentionally losing ratings. That's fine.
Yeah. Extensive wardrobe that includes 1d4 suits, a tuxedo for ceremonies, and 1d6 sets of nice looking yet durable clothes for the field. I thought that was important just to remind you guys that you're still in publication. You're not a YouTuber looking like a slob.
You still got to look good.
Yeah. Yeah. And you want to look like, what was his name? Wolf Blitzer, the field reporter, right? You have a video camera or drone, yada, yada, talks about the equipment here. Equipment available upon assignment. Additional equipment that is available to the reporter varies depending on the size of the parent news agency has standing. In most cases, the agency will look after its reporters' travel needs, including the supply of company needs, renting of vehicles, and all their transportation arrangements. I'm liking this now. The news agency is also likely to secure the security clearances and press credentials necessary for a story, including military, police security clearance, entry visas, passports, and diplomatic papers, passes to special events, as well as making arrangements for VIP interviews. Reporters are also issued press pass. Okay, let's scroll down. There's something in here I wanted to say. Other equipment that is
someone
made
has a question about armor.
What?
Because on location reporters nowadays, they wear like flak jackets or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Something like that here.
Yes, I skipped it. Which includes khaki vest, durable. See, a nice looking durable clothes for the field, which includes. Okay, I thought I read microfilm and for gas. Oh, here you go. Pen, large standard toolkit, gas mask, air filter, tinted goggles, backpack, walkie-talkie, personal ID with legit credentials. Owns his own vehicle. I thought I read this in here that they get. Maybe it's in this one that I'm reading now. The news agency is also press pass. Other equipment that is made available to reporters on assignment may include additional camera, video equipment, long-range laser communication, photographic equipment, universal language translators. Oh, that's a thing?
Well, for languages they know.
I didn't know that was the thing in Riffs.
Yeah.
Also provides special surveillance equipment, optic systems for undercover stories. You see where this is going? Like, this is
weapons will never be made available to a reporting crew, nor will the employer encourage the use of weapons. It doesn't say anything about armor. I guess you're on your own.
Yeah, I mean, well, you'll get paid, and I'm sure that you could get armor, like light armor. I don't know about the whole Coalition Dead Boy armor, but if the Coalition, now, if you're working for public affairs for the military, maybe. I mean, I don't know what Dead Boy armor is comparatively speaking, but I know that PA folks out here get helmets and flak vests, and they, sit behind, in armored up Humvees and so forth. So maybe. I thought I read that in here somewhere, but I guess I'm wrong. Anyway, so Riff's Bard OCC. What does this have to talk about in this? Read paragraph 2. The role of the Bard is essentially that of a one-man traveling show. Oh, this is your loner. This is the one that is most capable of adventuring. Okay. She's a master storyteller, comedian, singer, songwriter, musician, and journalist rolled into one. The Bard's job description can pretty much be summed up as have guitar, laser, will travel. And make a living by wandering from place to place and giving public performances at inns, taverns, theaters, festivals, official functions, royal courts, marketplaces, street corners, and anywhere else people can gather. One of the things that makes them so popular is the very fact that they are apt to show up in any particular hamlet, mercenary encampment, watering hole, village, kingdom, regardless of size or population. Any place that can offer an audience, food, drink, and a warm bed is a venue. Traveling show, by comparison, stops only at big cities, and you get the idea. The Bard goes where the road leads. Okay. And then now the Bard gets special abilities. We are not going to read all of these if you like the idea of it, but here you go. Charismatic aura. All bards are irrepressible free spirits who possess a charismatic presence, which makes them seem larger than life. Wherever they go, they're the center of attention. Never meet your heroes, people. Never meet your heroes. People just naturally take a liking to bard characters and hang on to every word. These wandering minstrels exude an infectious aura of merriment and friendliness. Oh, blah, 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 blah. By virtue of his natural charm, a bard wields tremendous influence over other people. He can turn even the most hostile and different crowd into an attentive audience and talk his way out of any situation. There are plenty of stories of barroom toughs deciding not to fight with a bard and instead settling things with a handshake and a drink. Likewise, there are a couple of commonly known yarns about bandits, monsters, and similar villains letting a bard go unmolested for the price of just a few songs. Do you know why those are yarns? Because they're rare.
Yeah.
Anyway, you get the idea. The way this charismatic aura works is analogous to the non-psychic hypnotic suggestion, enabling the bard to persuade other people into doing what he wants them to. He could, for example, talk to a bartender, giving him a free meal, persuade someone to reveal confidential or secret information, convince a bandit, and I just realized I was only supposed to read this paragraph, not to hurt him, or get people to believe somewhat less plausible lie. You get the idea of it. He has language affinity, which is neat. He can speak a lot of crap. Techno-wizard operation.
Uh-oh.
He can operate techno-wizard devices, even if not magically oriented or psychic.
What? No, pass.
For some unknown reason, the built-in safety mechanism prevents non-magic provisioners and non-psychics from using TW items does not affect bards. Moreover, bard characters have an increased amount in potential psychic energy, blah, blah, blah. That blew my mind.
That's dumb. That is absolutely stupid. Oh, there's a rule. Well, we got to make an exception of it. No, you don't. No, you don't.
And then you can see the bonuses and skills and so forth. We are going to move on to something that's probably more interesting for folks. The Rifts Gladiator, which I didn't care about this one. It dives into locations and price. Yeah, this is long. That's right. Page 61, paragraph 2. Talks about the arena, where you can find arenas, prominent gladiator arenas, what they do in them. I'm not saying it's bad. It's too long for this video. So, where's page 61, paragraph 2? Professional sports, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? There it is. Zoom in. Move over. Professional sports are a standby of the modern arena. Juicer sports enjoy incredible popularity throughout North America, not in coalition states. Deadball and Murderthon,
aptly named though,
are both immensely popular, and games are held regularly. It is Juicer football, however, that draws the most fans. The Juicer Football League has 8 teams, including champion El Paso Assassins and the Ciudad Juarez Maulers. There are tens of thousands of diehard JFL fans throughout North America who stage massive parties outside the stadium prior to games. Official JFL jerseys and merchandise have become the latest fashion in many kingdoms and burbs. And you can see the World Book Juicer Uprising for more information on Juicer Sports.
Yep. You know, that's neat and everything. I like that. You know, it can be background in your
Yes.
world. That's great. Yeah.
So that's the point of this. I'm not saying that everything you guys do in your games should revolve around this stuff. I'm providing this to you because I think this is the important type of background that even I've missed out on in the times that I've played Rifts. I'm not saying that every game match got to go out there and tell me what's on the TV, or it's like, hey, but wouldn't it be neat if you went in there, it's like, yeah, the dude's wearing a jersey from a JFL team, or hey, the JFL league is coming to this town this week and 2 teams are going to play. It's going to be a great time. And now maybe you're going to be hired for security. Maybe sound like you're going to say something.
You can treat TV and broadcast like StarCraft 2. You ever played StarCraft 2? Well, in the bar, you can click on the TV and see the state sponsored broadcast if you want to. You know, you could do that if you wanted. You know, it's background stuff. It's like, oh, that's fun.
So gladiators get a new hand-to-hand proficiency called hand-to-hand gladiator. We will look at that in a moment. Usually physically augmented, and there's different ways that they can go about that. Chemical, MOM, partial conversion Borg, high technology. DB, Splugorth transmutation. Oh yeah, I haven't skipped the Splugorth stuff yet. And tattoo magic. Gives us skills, OCC related, blah, 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 blah. You guys know how about. Let's just take a quick look at what the gladiator gets. So 2 attacks per melee. You know that means 2 on top of the 2, so 4 attacks per melee. Disarm an opponent on a roll of 19 or 20. Right out of the gate. Does it say he has to declare it?
No.
Right out of the gate.
That's impressive.
The gladiator excels in one-on-one fighting. Does not excel anywhere else.
Every attack, there's a 10% chance you deprive your enemy of their weapon. That's pretty good.
And 1 additional attack doesn't gets at level 4, level 7, and 10. Remember, he is a fighter still. All right. I love this
triple damage critical strike or knockout from behind. Triple damage.
Gladiator wrestling. I'm not going to dive into this, but there is now a specialized you can use up. I think it's 2 of your OCC related slots. Cost of 2 OCC related, and you can now get bonuses when wrestling, which adds on top of the other stuff. This is on top of what you get up here. Okay. Yep. Read GM note on page 66. Okay. GM note on gladiator wrestling. Oh, I don't need to read the whole thing. I only need to do the first part of it. The inclusion of gladiator wrestling skill in Rift's Gladiator OCC is optional. Well, of course, everything in the Rifter is optional. It's intended to provide added dimension to arena combat as well as some levity to the Rift's game. There you go. It's important to note in there that, if you take this, your game master might say no. But as always, game masters can say no to all that stuff anyway. And then it says skim through the equipment. Because here you go. Got some classic armor. There's one I am going to stop on.
Very Romanish.
Oh, Splugor spike suit bio armor.
No, I see that. I'm like, I left the oven on. I gotta go.
Too bad the gate behind you is closed now, and all they gave you is a loincloth and a wooden sword.
That's awesome. I'm not meant to win this, am I?
For entertainment purposes, Splugorth often pit their supernatural minions against normal humanoids in gladiator events. Occasionally, to even the odds, competitors are provided with bio armor suit similar to the symbiote of a Splugorth juicer. So you get the suit because you don't know how to fight, but you still don't know how to fight.
Yeah. And their suit is probably remarkably better.
Power gauntlet, some Techno Wizard dancing fang dice show. It gives some equipment in here. Again, very well thought out overall concept here.
An octopus whip. That's something.
What's that?
An octopus whip.
Yeah. All right. Just a couple things left to cover. The Gladiator, while not a mainstream character class, can be easily integrated into most Rift campaigns. As a specialist in combat arms, they're a valuable addition to any group of player characters. True, the Gladiator is not especially adept at modern military-style combat, but like the Headhunter, he can add tremendously to the offensive punch of any adventuring group. And a lot of them are cyborged out. Remember, we looked at that above. Yeah. You might have some tattoo magic or something weird going on.
Juicer, cyborg, full or partial, the tattoo magic, Splugorth, non-sensory. Yeah.
Exactly. Most are thrill-seeking personalities who will easily adapt to the many opportunities offered by the adventurer's lifestyle. Adventures can even be centered around events in the arena. For example, the characters are recruited by persecuted villagers to defeat their villainous champion, who's well known for wagering control of his kingdom in gladiator duels at a deserted Dust Bowl stadium outside of town. Little long sentence there you didn't put in there, but yeah. Enter the gladiator PC as the hero of the adventure. Alternately, an NPC with information, equipment, etc. that is vital to an adventurer is only willing to trade this commodity to the group if one of them is willing to fight in the local arena against a rival gladiator as a result of some past feud. This guy likes long sentences. Another possibility is that the villain in the adventure is an NPC gladiator with whom the gladiators crossed swords in the past. Or you could just run the gladiator movie. Who cares?
Yeah. Sounds like it. Yeah. Okay.
You get the idea. So there we go. Next would be the metabolic juicer, but like I said, I did not like this at all. Maybe it's your thing. If you like it, read it, get the book. Look at that. Metabolic juicers suffer from a genetic disease that causes symptoms such as hyperactivity and hypertension. They're adrenaline junkies that got screwed up by going near ley lines.
Pass.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. I know that was a lot. I skipped a lot of it as well. I wanted to give you what was important there for the purposes of how I just think that this can add to the Rift world. This helped me. I'm not a Rifts player, but this helped me better visualize the Rifts world. I mean that. Like, okay, you know what? I never really thought about this. Sure, you could think of some backwater arena or, the Splugorth arena, but no, just the idea of them having sitcoms. I'm going to watch Coalition Cheers. Norm, and then where Cliff Clavin comes out that, hey, Norm, did you know that the Coalition, well, they're the good guys, and here's why. This is what they do for us, maybe because Cliff Clavin wasn't subtle. Hey,
buy your Coalition Ovaltine.
Does this potato look like Emperor Prozac? You'd have to know this.
You should put that on CS Bay.
CS Bay, there you go. but I thought it added much needed stuff that Kevin probably wouldn't, because I don't know how many people would buy it, but stuff that just Kevin thinks this way. I don't know how to say it. Wouldn't be just great for a source book, other than a blurb. That would be great for enhancing your Rifts games. What do we have for comments?
All right, we have the armor we saw earlier, the armor for the edgiest of edgelords, the Splugor spike armor, and he just wants to give you a hug, man. That's all. He's starved for attention, and the rest of it is them going, oh crap, or talking to each other.
Brown Souls Everything says Hand-to-Hand Gladiators originally from Palladium Fantasy Book 3 Adventures on the High Seas. I don't know if it's the same or not. If it's the same, okay. Maybe it was just reprinted for the Rifter. Or maybe it's different. I don't know, but that's awesome that you Palladium Fantasy folks can do as well. That makes sense for the Palladium Fantasy folks to have that. So what are your overall thoughts of that article?
For
the information for the giving the word
I would make sure not to give this to any players, because they're going to get it in their stupid little heads that, I want to play a performer. No, you don't. Shut up.
No, you don't.
There's always going to be that guy. No, there's always going to be that guy. I don't even want to talk to that guy. I don't want him to know about this. But using all of this for NPCs and background stuff, and I want to go to game day one day, like every anime has the beach episode. Well, guess what? Now that I have this, every Rifts game is going to have the murder ball episode.
There you go.
All right. So everyone's gonna go to the murder ball match and have a good time. One day.
I had a complaint. I didn't write it down here, so I had a complaint. I think it was about the bard. No, it wasn't there. There's one of these in here. Maybe I'm missing it. I was not happy with the idea of mental affinity. I felt that, I can't find it. So here's the entertainment. The performer gets a boost to MA and physical beauty. That's fine. Yep. Although I do know some really ugly actors. To be fair, though, I think at worst they're average.
Ugly and charismatic are two different things. Right. So, okay.
Is it the bard? Well, the bard has his powers. The bard requires an MA of 12 or higher, so 1d4 to MA. At some point here, I was reading this and I was like, this person needs an MA boost. There's no way you can be what this is without a certain MA. But I'm not going to try to figure out what I was thinking at that point now. We got a couple of super chats, or at least got one. How far are we from a drawing? I will tell you right now. Sorry, I got to swap screens and so forth. We are $20 from the drawing. So that's after your $10 admission. So, all right, what are your thoughts of adding background?
Did you do that math right?
What's that?
20, 30, 40, 50,
we're 20
60,
away.
70, 80. Oh, 20. Okay, yeah. You
I'm looking literally at YouTube right now telling me we're in
you are? Okay. YouTube lies. We all know that.
That's fair. All right. What are your thoughts on articles like this? Do you think that this added more background? Do you think this added some fun information? I agree with Heathen Dog. I don't think that too many of these character classes should be played, but they do make fun potential NPCs or tag-alongs to your group. Sure. Maybe you got to get
escort missions suck, but hey, if you're escorting a professional performer, it might be okay. I don't know.
Right. So all told, what do you think? So what are you looking forward to when we cover the Rifter 25? I still have a couple other things that I want to knock out, try to have time to knock out first. I don't know what I'm covering next week yet. I have some ideas. So let us know your thoughts on the Rifter. Let us know your thoughts on Palladium Books as a whole. And I look forward to talking to everybody next time.